Green, nope. No, as long as it's not-
Right. Good evening. I'm going to call to order the Library Funding Committee. I'm going to do at 6:07 PM. And roll call is Counselor David Good, Counselor David McBride, myself, Chair Juliet Parker, Town Manager John Burt, Wendy Connell from Bill Memorial Library, Christine Bradley from Mystic Noank Library, and Trustee Bill Smith from Mystic Noank Library. Thank you all for attending. Can I get a motion for the approval of the minutes, please?
Yes. I move to approve the Library Funding Committee special meeting minutes of September 8th, 2025.
Any questions or concerns? Got everything? All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Any abstentions? All in favor? All right. So next is the funding method of Bill Memorial Library and the Mystic Noank Library. And we asked both directors to be here to give us some guidance or what their thoughts on the process. We asked several questions and they brought additional information to us. And does anybody have any questions or would you like them to present?
I'm ready for a presentation first,
Presentation.
and then we can question after that, I guess.
So you flip a coin?
Yeah, no, you go ahead. Okay.
Okay, so thanks for the opportunity. I appreciate it. So looked at the information was provided by Wendy and her team at the Bill Memorial Library, as well as Mystic and Noank Library. And I tried to synthesize it. So I put together a simple presentation deck. That's what I used to do all the time at other places. So I'm going to walk through this, ask questions, probe, it's just sort of a first step, trying to find something which is reasonable and equitable and kind of gives recognition to the benefits of both libraries and the Groton Public Library. And so we're going to look in terms of what's happened over the last 20 some years of funding across the three libraries. We're going to look in terms of what is the benchmarking, how good are we as a provider of services for our community relative to state averages. Talking a little bit about, okay, what does the future look like? We've seen the past. What is the future? What is reasonable and equitable that people can say, you know what, that makes sense. We're getting a set of benefits. What's the cost for the average citizen? And is that reasonable? Because at both libraries, very, very busy. They do wonderful things for their constituents. There's a level of predictability that I think is required, both from somebody paying the bill, the taxpayers, as well as trying to deliver these services. So I'm going to walk through this here. If I misrepresent anything, Wendy, say, that's not true, time out. So I do try to kind of be very clear, smart about the information. So as I said before, the three libraries in the town do a great job providing a host of services. You see it every day. Libraries are economic drivers. Libraries help sort of level the playing field. They're open, nearly 50 hours a week. If you need something, they're there. They're very helpful, whatever it may be. Libraries are economic drivers as well. So there's lots of documentation that this is true. So I'm not going to belabor that point. So if you look in terms of 2026, off of the budget, so total library budget for the three libraries, it's about $2.2 million. The bulk of that is for the town's municipal library. The Mystic and Noank Library receives $181,000 roughly for 2026. Thank you, much appreciated. The Bill Library receives a little bit over $68,000. Thank you, that's very good. The past 20 years, looking at the town budgets, that budget's increased 51% up through 2026. Pretty much in line with inflation. Inflation was between 50 and 55% during that same time frame. total library funding increased 10%. So total budget's up 51, money's going to the libraries advanced 10%. Mystic and Ellwine Library, dial back the clock to 2020, 2006, was about $181,000. So it's less now than what it was 20 years ago. The Bill Library, their funding's improved year on year, up from roughly $16,000 20 years ago to $68,000 today.
But they weren't always that way because it's been flatlined, so they were just getting 25. They were 25 for several.
Yeah, for a couple of years, yep.
No, for a long time.
Okay.
20, they were just starting to increase, correct?
Yeah, so the
Yeah.
data's in here.
Yeah.
So, the money has been relatively limited in terms of support for libraries in Groton. Again, benchmarking is important. You see how much the per capita is in the state of Connecticut for the average municipality. And that works out to be about $63 per resident. Town of Groton, we spend about $57. So we're about 9 or 10% less on a per average basis for library services. So in terms of the programs provided, services provided, the 3 libraries do quite well. In general, the Mystic and Ellwine Library has about 3 times the number of visitors, card holders, materials distributed, that's hard, tangible items as well as downloads, and programs compared to the bill. Mystic and Ellwine Library receives about 30% of its budget from public funding, and we'll go through that. We rely heavily, about 28% of our budget comes from fundraising. So a variety of fundraisers, annual appeals. Give me your email address so I can make sure you guys get a prize card for next year.
Absolutely.
David, thank you very much in advance. And so what the library does as well, and we touched upon this very briefly, is that there's always improvements at both libraries. So we have what we call the Mystic Ellwine Library Park project. That's going to be about a $625,000 project that's going to kick off next year. And that's going to be addressing some of the accessibility issues, children's play areas, entrance into the front of the library, hopefully add additional handicap parking off of Elm Street. So that is something that is being discussed right now and will kick off in 2026. So that's going to keep that in mind. And so you look at on page 3, Town of Groton budget 2006, left-hand column, approved budgets. What's the change and what's the CAGR over that on a per year basis? And as I said before, overall budget for the town is up 51%. Town of Groton Library is up 8%. Mystic and Ellwine Library, I was surprised, down below. It's about 2.7% decline over that 20-year span. The Bill Library is up from a low 2006 approved budget of $16,000. So the 3 libraries in total up about 10% or about 0.5% on average per year. Then all the detail, it's there. I teased through the data over at the library, pulling out, what the dollars were, the approved budgets year over year. And so not going to rehash this here, but this is the data set. Graphic representation of that information is on page number 5. And there were collectively some really hard years back, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021. So you have that trough.
Mhm.
And so that trough meant, okay, what do? Do you pare back the services you offer? Do you do some belt tightening? I did look at some of the staffing levels at the main library. Staffing has been reduced, during these harder times. So used to, I think, of an FTE of maybe 19. It's down to about 16 or 17 most recently. So as I said before, trying to figure out, how good are we? What is the average expenditures in 2024, which is the latest data that's out there,
Yeah.
operating expenses per capita is about $63. This is on page number 6. Index that to 100. The 3 libraries bridging off the 2026 budgets, it's about $57, dollars. So it's good. I mean, for what we do, it's probably even more than that 9 or 10%, reduction of average expenses, because you're comparing 2026 data to 2024.
You know what I always think of as our libraries, and I think I said this to you, John. It's like we have almost 40,000 people, right? So towns of that size in our state have branch libraries. And we have that system, kind of. We have a fine, big municipal library, and we have 2 branch libraries, one serving the geography of Mystic and one serving the geography of the city. And I know that that's not exactly that way, but I mean, I think that's a wonderful service to give to people, and supporting a municipal library and then giving aid to the 2 libraries that serve the city and Mystic. And it's something Groton can be very, very proud of.
Great.
On page 7, it's more detailed, more granular relative to what's the budget, visitors, endowments, sort of a true side-by-side compare
But
versus Mystic and Noank.
I
And
do have a question.
Sure.
But this does not show that you guys also get money from Stonington.
It's
Is
Yeah,
that-
that's on page number
Yeah.
8. Yep.
Okay,
That's on it. And we have a really good breakdown for the last,
I know, but I wanted to make sure the public heard
Oh,
this
okay.
too.
Yep. Yeah. So we do get about $120,000 from the town of Stonington to meet the needs of the Mystic and Noank Library. And so, and again, Wendy, please let me know if I have any misrepresentation here for your fine library. But in terms of visitors, endowments, budget, I could not track down the 2026 budget for the Bill Memorial Library. So I, don't have that. Again, operating hours, card holders, and it's trying to kind of, what is the scale of the Bill Library to the Mystic and Noank Library? And it's about, 3 to 1, relative to card holders, materials distributed, programs. The Bill Library does a great job in terms of youth programs, excellent attendance, number of, adult programs. Mystic and Noank Library covers a gamut, whether they're author talks, whether they're, learning how to do something, whether it is a, true community service, that are extremely well attended. So
Yeah, and Juliet had asked us to provide a list of programs separately from this.
any questions on this data set here?
I have a quick question.
Sure.
You say 6 million. That's not including the beneficial interest in the charitable trust, right?
Correct. Yeah, it's what they call, it's the Ames monies, and that's split between Worcester Polytech Institute, Mystic Seaport, and the library. That is for the benefit of the physical building. So, we
original building.
we can't spend that on programs. That is very restricted. Yes. Very
And
restricted.
only the 1893.
right.
That was purposeful in that list.
How big is that?
It's about half, we went through that because we're counting the basement, we're about 15,000 square feet. And it divides up about 50-50, the original building and then addition.
No, I meant the
biggest. Yeah. Oh,
It's approximately $2 million.
Yeah, it's, their endowment is about the same as the libraries. But we end up with about 100,000 a year from that we can use for the improvements to the original building.
So it's 6 million?
No,
The
the
trust is
so
the Ames
in
Trust.
terms of what we're, able to access. It's roughly, I think, $2.6 million. That
Yeah.
is split three ways. Ourselves, the Seaport, as well as RPI, I believe it is.
Yeah,
So in that, we have the ability to throw
W.
off roughly about $100,000 a year to,
Right.
and it's detailed on page number 8 in terms of designated gifts and other. So that's what helps fund the gap, if you will.
Right, but that's like an endowment, but it's not reflected in the endowment.
It is not, no, it's something, it's totally
No.
different. So there is the
Yeah.
endowment, which is $6 million. That compares to the endowment of the Bill Library, which is approximately $4 million and change. So you think about those endowment dollars. So somebody, 85 years ago said, this is important. I'm going to establish these endowments. And the endowment at a 5% takeout a year for the Mystic Library is $301,000 a year. So of that $6 million, you take out on average 5%, that should throw off about $300,000. The Bill endowment, which is approximately $4 million and change, actually $4.8 million, 5% of that per year throws off $238,000. If you need it, if you want to take that.
right.
The Mystic and Knowing Library essentially takes about 95% of the endowment and puts it into the operating budget of the library. The endowment utilization of the Bill Library, they get 238,000. They use about 157 based upon the FY 2025 budget.
Wait, I'm sorry, is that correct?
I don't think so. Where are you getting that number? One,
So the endowment of the Bill Library is $4,777,000. 5%.
I have the financial, excuse
Okay.
me, I have 4158372. The your investments are down as of 6/30/24. That's the most available data that I'm on.
The audit.
Yeah, no.
Okay, so what I have here is the endowment of the Bill Library, which is roughly $4.8 million. If you assume a 5% takeout of that per year, that throws off roughly $238,000 that you could take to apply against the operating budget. Right now, looking at your budget, you receive $65,000. This is for FY 2025, which is the data that I had available to me. $65,000 from the town, endowments, contributions.
what page are you on?
I'm on page number 8.
I'm trying to
I'm just wanting,
connect
I
that
want
to
to,
our,
yeah, I want to be very clear regarding, here's the budget, here are the sources of funding in support of that budget. And so if you want to focus on the Mystic and Knowing Library, the town provides, thank you, $180,000. We received from the town of Stonington, as I said before, $120,000. Our endowment spits off roughly $287,000. That's what we've budgeted for this current year, which is roughly 95% of that 5% takeout of the total endowment. There is other monies that we utilize from designated gifts, which somebody says, listen, I want to, and a lot of this is the Ames money. These dollars, I want you to apply them to X.
Right.
And
They're
but
not for the operating.
it's not for the,
budget. Yeah.
but it does help in terms of, hey, you got a leaky roof. Here's monies, or you got a leaky chimney, which we have.
Mhm.
Here's monies that will help address that issue.
Well, we always have thought of it, which is true roughly, 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. 1/3 from the two towns that we serve, Groton and Stonington, 1/3 from the endowment, and the other third is the fundraising, the big events, and right now we just started the annual appeal. So and then certain gifts and all that, that's the tough nut for us, that last third. because that's annual fundraising. Where the town stipends are annual also, but different. And then the endowment 5% is. Has been good, so yeah, it's a three-legged stool.
Any questions on the information thus far?
No, just for people viewing, I just wanted to make a comment about the town's library budget. We haven't, when we've cut, it's been at their recommendation. They've actually said they could do with less people. We've never cut them.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a great library too. But they won the award, the best library, a few years ago, right? Remember, most outstanding library, I forget how they termed it, but it was a statewide award.
So I'm gonna plow through on slide number 9 then. Just sort of general summary and recommendations. Again, this is sort of first step in the process, which is, in general, the funding for the library, all libraries in the town has significantly lagged inflation. Wide swings in support over the years, it has impacted the service and program levels at the Mystic and Millbank Library. We're delighted for the funding. I mean, it is, critical. A more predictable funding model would be very welcome, so we can plan on it. Not only plan on it, but we want to do things such as this library park, which is a significant undertaking to really address the outside of the building, to make it more welcoming, to make it more appropriate for a community setting. And that's going to something that will kick off in 2026. So, but as we sit here with Wendy representing the Bill Library, we received $249,000 from the town. Thanks. Once again, thank you very much. Right now the split, it's not gonna, Wendy's not looking for money from Mystic Millbank, and we're not looking for money from hers. We're not gonna be an arm wrestle. You guys, the RTM will figure out what is appropriate, but I think that split, what we have now, is a reasonable approach. We do spend below state averages for library support. So then, what is a reasonable approach to kind of think about going forward? So I'd ask you folks to think about bridging off the 249. Think about what's reasonable, adhere to the current split. Cap the budget. Maybe it's 3%. Maybe it's CPI plus 1%, or make it at CPI. I understand the stress of budget increases on the taxpayers. I've been there, done that. So you guys think about what is reasonable and what collectively we can live with. But it's not so simple as saying, well, the Bill Library, they should increase their fundraising. Okay, maybe the Mystic and Millbank Library should increase their fundraising. $280,000 is not enough. It's a lot of money. That people have such a heart for the libraries that they're willing to spend above and beyond their taxes to support it. They see the value. And so, and again, think about if we come knocking on your door and say, listen, guys, this library park, which benefits the town, if you can give consideration to that, fabulous. I mean, we're moving forward with that project. There is some state dollars that have been set aside for that project, about $250,000. Again, the project will be probably around $650,000 to $850,000. So the balance is going to be fundraising.
Yeah.
So that's going to be, people getting tapped on the shoulder. Hey, Juliet, can you contribute generously to the Mystic and anyhow? So that's where we are right now. My takeaway is thanks for the support. Libraries are a great public service, early education, late stage adult learning.
Late education.
We're more efficient than the state averages. Wendy and her team do a fabulous job. We try to do good things for the folks in Mystic, we do get monies from the town of Stonington, but it's a third. And we hustle to try to get those fundraising dollars above and beyond what people are paying for their taxes. And you guys hustle as well for your fundraising money. So, and it's not an easy, I can appreciate your desire to be as efficient as possible, but the libraries in general do a pretty good job. So
Yeah.
that's my pitch. Welcome any, comments, thoughts. Hopefully the data is, when from your standpoint, honest and, transparent.
Oh.
Okay,
What?
go ahead, Wen. No, you go ahead. Did you want to say
Okay.
anything?
Sure. Well, I was just looking at the difference in the fundraising, I guess, or let me just start with the Bill Memorials staff. We have no development director, we have no admin assistant, we have no grant writer. So when you look at the difference in the fundraising numbers, I mean, that's essentially me and one person who puts in about an hour a week to help with fundraising. So we're looking to grow our staff to be able to write the grants that would bring in more money. And get that kind of scaffolding, unlock the potential of our staff. Right now, we can't offer health benefits. So that's a big minus in terms of trying to retain good staff. We don't have access to the town plan that Mystic and Knowing does. So I guess another couple of numbers. I passed out our list of the programs that we did in last fiscal year. And our budget for programming is $2,000. And that documents 8 pages. Like we have a skills library, like we don't have the space to do. A lot of libraries have a library of things. Well, we don't have space to keep the
I know, wouldn't it
things.
be nice? And,
But we have a very talented staff, so we did a skills library. So we give help to people on like crochet, knitting, sourdough. We just tap our staff for the skills that they have, and the numbers are there, the people that come in for those sessions, along with like tech help sessions, as I think all libraries do. Yeah. But people can make one-on-one appointments with us to go through, cell phones, all of that.
downloading
computers,
library stuff,
resumes.
right?
Yeah,
You know,
Libby.
Yeah, all that.
So I guess a couple of questions here were, the number of card holders. I think that's kind of misleading.
Yeah,
Because we probably see for every one Bill Memorial card, we see probably 2 Groton Public
Right,
cards,
Right,
or Waterford
Oh,
cards.
yeah, all
That-
kinds of good.
good,
Yeah.
across the board.
it is great.
Yes.
In our consortium, how we share our books in our just, Groton, Waterford, Bill and MNL, it's like one system as far as that goes,
Right,
which is great.
yes.
Especially for
Materials
us.
distributed, our book budget is 18,000. I don't know what your book budget is.
It's funny, not a lot bigger. I'm always surprised when we talk about how we spend money, right?
Uh-huh.
At any library, and you look at the book budget, it's 20,000, but we've been spending a lot on the downloadables,
Yeah,
yeah.
Which have gotten very expensive.
Oh, boy,
Yes.
yeah, but if you see, the other thing is the use. Is,
Right.
Exploded.
it's still 40,000 print, which is nice, like circulation, but it's 20,000 downloads, which is a lot.
Mhm.
Yeah, and they're.
And your programming budget? The guide
Yeah,
was at
actually, it's
2,000.
bigger, it's bigger, it's actually 18, because it's 8 for children and 10 for adults.
Mhm.
So it's good, it's a good program budget.
So we're just trying to kind of unlock our potential and
Yeah.
unfortunately going from what, 16,000 a year to 68,000, even though the percentage looks big. It's not a lot of
Dollars.
money.
are
Right,
not-
yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's take it a different, you gotta take it a different way. And-
But yeah, we're looking at if we could hire a grant writer, a fundraising coordinator, an admin assistant, we could grow our program.
And even to get one of the, like, we have that Network for Good, it's not the greatest database for fundraising, but to pay for that. And
Right,
somebody to put the data,
right.
you know,
We use
it's
Excel.
hard. Yeah, right, Excel, it's a good program, but, you know, not specifically for fundraising, yeah.
I'm sorry, Wendy, you said a grant writer, a fundraising assistant? And
Yes.
what else? I'm sorry.
Admin.
Admin, I'm sorry,
Assistant / financial assistant,
as in one position, right?
yes. Because right now, all those are me.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah, you've got the positions, it's just that only one person is filling them all, yeah. Mhm, mhm.
Right, did you guys have any other questions? Did you?
I will as we move forward, but I don't know how you can proceed with. John came up with some.
Well, I'd like to hear too, if you had any ideas for a more dynamic way to allocate funds.
I would say. Even funding. I mean, and they have the added income from Stonington, and we don't have that, you know.
But you do have a very generous endowment, and I'm very curious as to if you take out 5% of your endowment, that's $235,000.
But on the same token, you guys do too, and you also have a special account.
Yes, we do.
So
Yes, yep,
you have two different things coming in, actually three.
yep.
Because you're getting from Stonington, your endowment, and you get designated gifts.
Thank
So,
goodness. And again,
But-
we have a fundraising budget of 28% as well. And that's money that because, as I said before, people value the services provided at both libraries.
but
So I balk at the notion of an even split of funding, given the fact that the number of, the metrics of size and individuals served, it's pretty clear. And again, but you guys, I mean, I don't make an argument. You guys do great work, Wendy. But we want to make sure that there is a fair and equitable allocation of resources in terms of the libraries. And again, it is much appreciated, as I said before, guys. So, but
Okay, I see where you're coming from. Just two questions, in this field. How many, what percentage of the people you serve are Stonington residents? And then with that, how much percentage of your funding from towns is Stonington? Are they,
I have my rough.
We always
know it's
say
impossible.
60-40.
so it's 60-40?
The funding is roughly like 60-40. I forget, I think they give us 120, Groton gives us 180. We had, remember Wendy and I met and we were trying to come up with the
Mhm.
thing as you asked. Not easy, but
Mhm.
remember, was it the 20%? We looked at our budgets, tell me if and we thought, okay, we're each getting about 20% of our budget from town of Groton. And so that, looking at a percentage, that makes sense. What we couldn't do it, on the upper end, like a cap. I mean, you don't have unlimited funds for libraries, but in that sort of made sense. That seemed appropriate.
Just when you say 20% of funding, is that just from Groton or your total funding?
No, like if you take our budget and both of them, right? Was that it? And it was.
It was from the town of
From the
Groton.
From the town of Groton,
It's
So-
20%.
Have the additional.
for both of you, right? That's not including the Stonington part of that.
Right.
Okay, that's, I'm
provides
just,
18%
Yeah,
of
right,
Mystic
right.
Knowing Library's funding.
Mhm.
Groton's support for the Bill Library represents 24% of their budget.
Okay,
Yeah. So it's,
yeah,
you know,
mhm.
comparable, so we like that idea, cause it would be what we've been getting, right? But then somebody said, well, they'll never go for that, like, what about the upper end? You know, but that, at that 20%, it seemed good.
Right,
But that's all, we couldn't
I mean,
move
a
beyond
million
that.
versus
Right.
what, 300,000?
Yeah, that
Twenty
was,
percent is a
Yeah.
lot different.
right, so that's why we just kind of said,
No, I appreciate that.
you know, we were trying, but.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I have one question. I think I can go really forward to the dissecting. When you talk about the percentages, I don't know how we can do it, but is there a way? Do you take into consideration your investment gains at their downs? Because I see that as a big nut, and I don't see that coming into play. I'm wondering how that can be utilized. Because you're talking 5%, 200, whatever it may be, but then you're bringing in 400, 500, something. I think last year was $700,000 in gains. So how can, is there a way that that number can be used as a way to demonstrate what the need is? Or is that money, or you just take that money and just plows back into your down?
It goes back in the endowment. So at least at Mystic and Knowing Library, I served on the finance committee. It's a very conservative financial approach in terms of preservation of principal is sort of the overriding theme. So if you say, well, the S&P is up 16% year to date, what's the library doing? It's probably up about 5%.
Mhm.
So it's a very different, philosophy of managing that endowment. I'm not sure what it is within the bill,
It's pretty
organization.
close.
But it is not this, 18% uplift or 20-some percent, over the last year off of that principal. I mean, that would be wonderful. It'd be great to say, listen, we're bringing $800,000 and therefore we don't need any. It's a very different mindset in terms of managing an institution that started in 1893 for the Mystic and Knowing Library, and a few years even earlier for the bill. So you want stability and continuity. So we're not going to be overly aggressive with our investment strategy, for right or wrong. I mean,
Yeah.
right now you say, well, you guys are leaving money on the table today. Well, what's going to happen 3 years from now?
No, I totally understand that. That's great. I'm just wondering if there's a mechanism where this body can look to see how that money can be used to offset the ask of the property of the residents, because, this is, I mean, in last year, there's over $700,000 of gains between your three different areas that was income. Yours was, I think, 414, so that's a significant amount of money. That, we're talking about 200 here, and we're not really talking about how the investments are performing. Wondering if there's a way we should consider that something.
Be happy to come back with you and say, here's what our performance has been in terms of, here's the investment strategy, here's what the appreciation has been off of the principal for the endowment at the Mystic and Knowing Library. That's easy to do.
I mean, it's a great problem to have, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Significant.
And we
In
both
these
have
years, I mean,
endowments too, so.
things can go tilt as you know. Yep.
But if you're conservative in your investments. and-
Yes, and we are very,
Probability
yes,
is
we're,
tough.
yes.
Payroll, no,
Mhm.
yeah.
Just.
But
that's
yeah,
one
but
other
happy to
question.
do that.
Just a thought for
Yep.
everybody.
No, yeah.
It's-
Just going over the history, basically. The Bill Memorial Library, sorry, has received, except for in 2017, which going back on the record, you guys volunteered a lower ask. Because they were considering 5% budget cuts across the board that year. You've pretty much received, and again in 21, what you've asked for. So I'm just, trying to reconcile. Are you asking for something different than what you have been asking for the last 10 years? As far as percentage wise? I mean, it feels, I feel like you've come to the town council last year, asked for 68,250, and you can just go down the line, except for 2 years. Had there been a different award than what you've asked for? Does that make sense? So you come every year to the budget with an ask.
Yes.
The town council has been very receptive, I think, in granting that ask. So we're here talking about equity. But you have received your ask for the most part, except for, I mean, it looks like $7,000 difference in the last 10 years. So I'm just wondering, you know, were you guys being ultra conservative on your ask just so you would be able to predict what you'll be getting, or have you been satisfied with your ask?
Well, because that's a decision, a board decision.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they've always gone conservative
Okay.
in terms of their ask.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just trying to get a feel for that. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Mr. Burt, do you have any questions?
I was taking a look through everything earlier today. You know, and the unfortunate thing is if you change beyond what you were recommending, I mentioned that to the committee before that. Then it's almost like competing against each other, but at the same time, if you keep it status quo, then you've locked Bill Memorial Library. And you know, where they're at without progressing, so it's, you know, it's difficult. I played with some things, like I was looking at some weighted things here, I threw out, I didn't like using the. I didn't like using visitors because it's not accurately tracked. I don't like
Yeah,
the,
but.
It is that.
I don't think the Bill Memorial, I don't think, yeah, so,
we have hash marks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weeks a year.
and then card holders isn't very reliable either, so I was kind of focusing on. Checked out materials, people served by programs, and then budget. And I played with some different weighted measures, and then using 0.6 for the Groton portion of the Mystic Noise Library. Depending, you know, it all tweaks here and there, like I gave, I think it was, right down there, hold on a sec, 35% for attendance, 35 for programs, 35% for circulation, and 30% for budget. So that if someone put in for more for budget, it wouldn't be a wild swing on the whole. But when I did that, and you could, you know, it changes a little bit by how you percent, you know, what you use, not terribly. But if doing the first scenario, kind of the main scenario I did, it would have been 0.58, 58% Mystic Noise Library, 42%. So not quite what Wendy was throwing out, but somewhere sort of in between the status quo, but allowing for growth. So that's, and again, there's other scenarios, they're all similar, you know, they don't change a whole lot from one to the other.
Any other questions for the directors?
Just thank you so much for coming and the presentations. It's a lot to chew on, but I really appreciate you guys.
Groton's been very generous with us and. you
But
know,
not that generous. I mean, we appreciate it.
Yeah.
But again, the fact that Groton libraries are essentially are more efficient than the state average. That for the Mystic and Knowing Library, we receive less dollars now than we did 20 years ago. We serve an incredible amount of people, both libraries, that they are economic drivers. That there's this big project called Library Park that's before us at the Mystic and Knowing Library that we probably won't get any town support. But, you know, we're going to be optimistic because it does help, you know, enhance the value of property in that area.
We got some ARPA.
Yep.
We got.
You got,
Yeah.
so everybody got ARPA, correct? You got ARPA?
Yes.
Okay.
We got about, I think, 23,000.
Yeah, we got.
What'd
So
you get for
I'm
ARPA?
trying to think, it was more than that. I think it was like 70.
And that's gonna be used for the outdoor
Yeah,
project.
for the outdoor.
And
project,
then when do you have to have spent by the end of 26?
26.
Yeah.
November.
Which seemed like forever, but.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know what time flies.
It's not gonna work.
So my question for Wendy is, are you guys doing some type of big project? Because obviously you guys are looking for something. Is that gonna be effective?
Well, John.
Here we go.
I gotta excuse myself for a moment.
I mean, we were hoping, we did get some funding for our outdoor space, we call it outdoor learning space. But I'm not sure if the counselors are aware of the whole paper street
Mm.
issue.
Yeah, I just, Yeah, I've heard of it, but I'm not
So
in the
again,
weeds with it.
we're in a bit of a holding
Yeah.
pattern until that is determined. Because that runs right through our property.
Right.
So in terms of where we will put something that's still like close to the building, we don't know, where there's talk of a land swap with the Groton Heights building. Again, that's got us just in a holding pattern, so we can't move. It'll be hard to spend our money
By
by
that time, yeah, wow.
Let me check in with the attorney. We're trying to find a reasonable way to fast track it.
Okay.
You know,
Right, yeah,
it's
that's,
much more complicated than most people realize.
Yes,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
It's not just a
Time is
paper
of the
street,
essence
it's
with
a
that.
reverser on a paper
Paper
street.
And it's
street.
another-
I found some
Yeah.
records, we were asking the
Mm.
town in like the 1990s to
Mhm.
abandon the paper street. And it was at that time, no, there's a remote reason, but
Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
we've
it's
been,
something to do with,
yeah,
Yeah.
trying to get that.
all right, so
Yeah,
thank
hopefully.
you guys.
But thanks.
keep us abreast on that with your timing
What you
for.
need.
I'd hate to see that, those fun.
I'll reach out there tomorrow.
Better not to get- yeah.
Okay, thank you, great.
All right, thank you, and the
Thank
committee,
you.
I need you to stay here.
And Wendy, definitely, you have my emails on the town site, so please, if you can, keep me updated with timing and what can be done. Appreciate
And
it.
I'll follow up, John, about the parking place.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It probably
Thank you,
won't be
guys.
big.
Oh, good, love that, yeah.
Julie,
Okay,
take
thank
good
you.
care. John, good to see
See
you
you
again.
see you later.
David, thank you very much.
You got it.
Appreciate it. I appreciate the, easy to read this.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. All right, can we take like a 5-minute recess? Recess at 6:53.
During recess.
Okay, we are back from recess at 6:59 and my thoughts is that we review what we received, because we received information from both Bill Memorial Library and information from Mr. Burt to review. I'm hoping to schedule another meeting, and if you guys can please send me your dates so that we can discuss. And did anybody have anything else to say or thoughts process?
I think this was great information, and I really appreciate John Burt's moving forward with his recommendation on his approach. I think I don't know anyone else, but I need to negotiate a little bit further. I think there's a little different ways that those percentages can be changed to find a fair allocation, but is the objective, just so I understand, the objective to come out for the 26 budget with whatever these percentages are, is it to maintain those going forward? Is that the thought process?
Yeah, I
Yes.
think that's intent,
Intent.
yeah.
Because I was just thinking one of them is like the budget, like. If we do it, I'm just gonna make a number, 30% of the budget, they can inflate their budget later, right, to get more, so it's kind of to set the standard, to keep it going, is that
I think it's
percentages?
the percentage in relation to each other, not.
Yeah, in relation to each
Each
other,
other.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
We could hold the line at the total forever if you wanted.
Right, but
You know, and it'll fluctuate between them otherwise.
No, I think it's great work you did, like I mentioned before, I don't know how we can encapsulate some form of endowment in there, but. If there was a way we could do that, just to consider, I do think it's a lot of money that they have that's not being discussed.
Maybe endowment in comparison to budget amount or something like that.
Or maybe just look at when the future council looks at the percentages, they can say, oh, they picked up 600,000, should that total amount be less?
Right.
just like a consideration, right,
Right.
have our formula and then with the consideration of endowment, yeah.
Right, they
yeah.
take it from there on the spot.
Right.
With with current information.
That's a good idea. I like that.
Okay,
Yeah.
I like that. So, of course, I did not write that down, so I'll be watching the video
I'll watch it too.
to make sure I got it correct. Yes, I think we're gonna do it that way. Come back, everybody review. We'll have another meeting and hopefully we can come up with a plan we can send to the committee. Do we need to do this at the committee of the whole?
Technically, no.
No, just to the
Unless
council.
you thought you were gonna run into issues, then you could opt to, but no. This is one of the standing committees that could come straight
Right,
out of
that's
the
it, the
council.
council. So we can have one more meeting and then it'll be probably, yeah, let's do it. Everyone check their dates. I know we have technically two more town council meetings. We can get it before the second one. I greatly appreciate it. And then we can come up with a plan and get it to everyone. Yes,
You schedule the date and I'll make sure I have time for it.
I can do that. And I'll.
Mondays generally work good for me if you stuck to a Monday. If that's-
So it's-
Yeah, Mondays are
for you?
fantastic.
That, his is a off, no,
We can talk.
we can talk, okay.
Yeah, we'll fix something.
I need a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Right. And all in favor?
Right?
Aye. We are adjourned at 7:03 PM. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.